So what is the question here? We have a soil layer of depth 12 meter and that is of very fine sand. Average void ratio is given 0.7 and water table level is at a depth of 4 meter below the ground surface, and above the water table the degree of saturation is 50%. Now we have to find out the effective pressure on a horizontal surface at a depth of 10 meters below the ground surface. So the soil is of 12 meter depth, but we have to find out the effective stress at a depth of 10 meters. So we are concerned only for a depth of 10 meters from the top. And the question is having a second part: what will be the increase in effective pressure if the soil is getting saturated by capillarity up to a height of 1 meter above the water table? So if above the water table the water is rising by capillarity, there will be an increase in effective pressure. So what is that effect at the same layer if there is a capillary rise occurring? So that is the second part. So we shall move to the answer, or how to solve it we shall see. So we have to find out effective stress. What is the formula? Effective stress is equal to total stress minus pore water pressure, and we need the height of each layer which is having any difference in between, like in terms of type of soil, or in terms of unit weight. So also the height of each layer. So these are the two things that we require: unit weight and height. So just see whether the unit weight and height values are given for each layer. So in this question the figure is not provided. You have to draw the figure by your own. So we have drawn the figure. Ground level is shown, and the total soil is up to 12 meter, but we are finding the stress at a level of XX, that is at a depth of 10 meters from the top. And we just marked the water table with a dotted line, and that is at a depth of 4 meters. So Z1 is equal to 4 meters from the top. So the next layer, that XX layer, will be obviously at a depth of 6 meters, because we have to consider it at a 10 meter depth. So 10 minus 4, that is 6 meters, that is Z2. Z2 is equal to 6 meters. Now forget about the 12 meter. Now we are discussing about that 4 meter and 6 meter, that two layers. So the first layer will be, the top layer will be having a gamma 1 value. It is not saturated with water, so you can take gamma 1. Then next is gamma 2. Okay. Now we shall discuss only about the first part. So in the first part, no capillary rise is occurring. Okay, so that is our solution, and we need to find out the gamma value of these two layers. So what are the clues given to find out the gamma value? So they have given G value as 2.65 and the void ratio is 0.7. So we can find out the dry density gamma D value, which is given by the equation. It is highlighted there. Gamma D is equal to G gamma W divided by 1 plus E. So in this problem we just assumed gamma W as 9.81. You can take it either as 10 also, but you have to mention what you have assumed. So G gamma W divided by 1 plus E, substitute in that equation, and you will get the dry unit weight as 15.29 kilonewton per meter cube. So E value is given, it is 0.7. G is given, gamma W is assumed as 9.81, and we got 15.29 as the gamma D value. Now you consider the sand above water table. So in the question it says that above the water table the sand has an average degree of saturation 50%. And below the water table, what happens? What about the saturation? It will be fully saturated, isn't it? So we have to find out the gamma value. So here we cannot take it as dry soil above the water table, because they have told the soil above water table is saturated 50%. So we cannot take gamma D as the unit weight of the first layer. We cannot take it as dry because it is 50% saturated. So you have to find out the bulk unit weight gamma value for that layer. So for the sand above water table, first case, we have to find out gamma value. So we know the equation: E is equal to Wg by S. So we are given the values E, G and S. What is S? S is degree of saturation. It is 50%. 50 divided by 100. So S is equal to 0.5. Now we have to find out gamma, bulk unit weight gamma, and gamma is equal to gamma D into 1 plus W, where W is the water content. So we can find the water content from the equation E is equal to Wg divided by Sr. So rewriting it in order to get W is equal to E into Sr divided by G. Now what is E? It is 0.7. And what is Sr? It is the degree of saturation. It is 50% for the soil above water table. So 50 divided by 100, that is 0.5. And G is given 2.65. Substitute and get the value. W, water content is 0.132. Again, we are writing it as 0.132 decimal itself. And now what is the bulk unit weight of that layer? It is gamma D into 1 plus W. Okay, so gamma D we have found it is 15.29 into 1 plus 0.132, that is 17.31. So the bulk unit weight of the layer above water table is 17.31 kilonewton per meter cube. Gamma of the first layer is found. Now coming to the layer below the water table. For saturated sand below water table it is fully saturated. So SR, the degree of saturation is 100%. That means SR is equal to 100 by 100, which is equal to 1. So again in the same equation, E is equal to Wg by SR. We substitute SR is equal to 1. E is the same. Void ratio is the same and it is 0.7. So what is W when it is fully saturated? What is the water content? So rewriting, you get W saturated. In the saturated condition, what is the water content? It is E divided by G into SR. SR is equal to 1. E is 0.7. G is 2.65. So you will get the value as 0.264. So that is the water content when it is fully saturated. The water content below the water table. So you can find out the value of density unit weight. Unit weight is equal to, corresponding to that water content, what is the unit weight? It is gamma D into 1 plus that particular water content. Gamma D is a dry unit weight, so that is 15.29. And if the water content changes, what is the new unit weight? So that you will get as 19.33 kilonewton per meter cube. So the two layers are different in terms of or due to water content or the percentage of saturation, that is different. So the unit weight will be different for the two layers. So we found first layer is having gamma as 17.31 and the second layer is having gamma as 19.33. Then for calculation part, we may need the submerged value, gamma submerged. So we just find out that also. Gamma submerged, second layer is fully underwater, so we may have to use gamma submerged value of that layer. So gamma submerged is equal to gamma saturated minus gamma W. So that is 19.33 minus 9.81. So you will get 9.52 kilonewton per meter cube. Clear? Now we got the different gamma values of the two different layers. We know the height of each layer. Now we can directly substitute in the equation to find effective stress. So effective stress, here it is denoted as sigma dash. So sigma, that is the total stress. Now consider the figure, a layer XX at a depth of total 10 meters from the top. So what is the effective stress at X? So you are going to find out. So total stress sigma is equal to, what is the first layer? 4 meter and the unit weight is gamma 1. So then the second layer is for a depth of 6 meters and the unit weight is gamma 2. So what is the total stress at XX? It is 4 into gamma 1 plus 6 into gamma 2. So 4 into 17.31 plus 6 into 19.33 and you got 185.22 kilonewton per meter square is the total stress. Now consider the layer XX. What is the pore water pressure at that? So observe what is the height of water above that layer. It is 6 meters. Water table is at a depth of 4 meters from the top and from the layer XX it is at a distance of 6 meters. So XX layer is having water 6 meter above it, isn't it? So the height of water is 6 meters. So you have to multiply that height with the unit weight of water. So that is pore water pressure is equal to 6 into gamma W. Gamma W is the unit weight of water, and 6 into 9.81. So you will get pore water pressure as 58.86 kilonewton per meter square. So what is the effective stress? Effective stress is equal to total stress minus pore water pressure. So 185.22 minus 58.86, and simply the answer, it is 126.36 kilonewton per meter square. So you got the effective stress at a layer 10 meters below the ground level. So the first part is over. Calculate the effective pressure on a horizontal plane at a depth of 10 meters below ground. So that part is over. Now the second part, what will be the increase in effective pressure if the soil gets saturated by capillarity up to a height of 1 meter above the water table? So now we have to consider the effect of capillary rise, which is occurring up to a height of 1 meter above the water table. So now again look at the figure. The capillary rise is shown above water table as for a height of 1 meter. So it is occurring along the whole length. Okay. So if that capillary rise is happening, what is the effect in the stress at the same layer XX? So how to find out that? So if capillary rise is occurring above the water table and the height is given as 1 meter. Okay, so in that case, what will be changing? So a 1 meter height of soil above the water table will also get saturated because capillary water is rising up. So the 1 meter layer above the water table will also get fully saturated, so that gamma 2 or the second layer is of 6 meters, that will be changing. That will be increased to a total of 6 plus 1, 7 meter. It will be fully saturated. A 7 meter height will be fully saturated. So effective stress at X after capillary rise. So that we have to find out. So you can observe the previous case. Please observe it again. Effective stress at X if there is no capillary rise. So sigma bar is equal to sigma minus U, which is equal to 126.36 kilonewton per meter square. So the same thing we can find out in a single step, like sigma dash is equal to, or the effective stress is equal to Z1 into gamma 1 plus Z2 into gamma 2 submerged. Because we can use the gamma submerged value and write the answer in a single step. Z1 into gamma 1 plus Z2 into gamma 2 submerged, or gamma 2 dash. Okay, so that also you should note down, like 4 into 17.31 plus 6 into 9.52. If you simply rearranging this equation, all the equations, we will get a single equation like this in terms of gamma submerged value. So that too can be noted. Okay, now coming to the capillary rise case. So now we may write the total stress value. So here in this slide, it is represented in terms of submerged value. So if you are observing how much layer is having gamma 1 now, only how much depth? It is only 3 meters. Why? Because out of the 4 meter, 1 meter is again having a capillary rise, so it is fully saturated. Now the 50% saturation is remaining only for a height of 3 meters. So 3 meter height is only having gamma 1 value. Now 3 gamma 1 plus, then the 6 plus 1 meter, that is total of 7 meter is now saturated. So if you are writing straight away the equation for effective stress, you can use submerged value, isn't it? So how much is saturated, that much depth is you can use gamma submerged value. So 6 plus 1 into gamma 2 submerged value. Now effective stress, when you're finding the effective stress, the the effect of capillary rise is also to be accounted. So at a depth of XX, what is the capillary rise? What is the effect of capillary rise? So the capillary pressure is, or it is height of the capillary water into gamma W. So that is acting away from it, isn't it? So yeah, instead of writing that minus sign, it will become the plus sign. So this equation is something rewritten in terms of gamma submerged. So the same answer you will get by simply following the same steps like finding total stress, finding pore water pressure, and finding effective stress. So now please do it along with me. The second case you can note down. We'll just find out the total stress value, sigma. For the second case, we are going to write the sigma equation, sigma. So what is sigma? Sigma is equal to, what is the height of gamma 1? Height for which gamma 1 is there? It is 3 meters. So sigma is equal to 3 into gamma 1 plus, now gamma saturated will be for a height of 6 plus 1 meter, isn't it? The capillary rise of 1 meter is also now saturated. So sigma is equal to 3 gamma 1 plus 7 into gamma saturated. Gamma saturated means gamma 2 value here. Gamma 2. 3 gamma 1 plus 7 gamma 2. That is the total stress at Xx in the case of a capillary rise if occurring. Then what is the pore water pressure at a depth of Xx, even if there is a capillary rise? What will be the pore water pressure? So how much water is retained over that Xx? It is the same. 6 meter height of water is there. So pore water pressure is equal to 6 into gamma W. Clear? Now what is the effective stress? What is the effective stress? Effective stress is equal to sigma minus U. That is equal to 3 gamma 1 plus 7 gamma saturated, that is gamma 2, 7 gamma 2 minus 6 gamma W. Now you can substitute. So sigma bar is, or sigma dash, effective stress is equal to 3 into 17.31 plus 7 into 19.33 minus 6 into 9.81. Now just find out the value, numerical value that we will get after substitution. So it will be equal to 128.38 kilonewton per meter square. So it's the same answer as shown in the slide. So if there is a capillary rise occurring over a height of 1 meter above the water table, you are getting an effective stress 128.38 kilonewton per meter square at the same level. So there is an increase in the effective stress. So how much is the increase in pressure? Just find out the difference. Increase in pressure is equal to 128, the new value minus the previous value, 128.38 minus 126.36 kilonewton per meter square. So you'll get the final answer as 2.02 kilonewton per meter square. And I hope it is clear now. Thank you.